You, you. Have you ever thought, which weapon should I use in a boss rush, and can't decide what to use? Well, you've come to the right place. Welcome to Bossrush Champions, or BC for short, a series where I showcase weapons that you should use in a boss rush. This first episode, I am going to showcase my favorite weapon to kill bosses with, the Frostbow. How this series is going to work is I use a number of categories to determine how good can a weapon be in a boss rush scenario, and if it's good enough to be considered a boss rush champion. First, cost. If you want to use a weapon 3 times a day, it has to be cost effective, so you can keep crafting it without making a huge dent in your material supply. Second is weapon stats. If we want to make the weapon into a boss killing machine, we need a good starting point to get us through the first levels of the boss rush. And third, buffs and upgrades. Buffs and attachments can take a not so good weapon and turn it into one of the strongest weapons in the game. And now let's get back to the Frostbow. Like most bows in Soul Knight, it has a starting damage of 4, but when fully charged that becomes 16. And because it's a bow, its crit chances go up to 80% when fully charged. The unique thing about the Frostbow is it freezes enemies when it crits. With Knight's first kill and you got yourself 32 starting damage with a freezing weapon, which is pretty good, but since the Frostbow is an elemental weapon, the crits don't actually double its damage unless you have the buff that unlocks it. Now to the second thing, the cost of the Frostbow. Unlike many freezing weapons, the Frostbow doesn't actually cost blue crystal fragments. Instead, it is crafted with 8 timber and 4 ironstone, so it's incredibly cheap. And for the final category, the buffs and upgrades, and it has quite a few. First is the elemental bullets deal double damage on critical hit buff, which makes the crits to actually double the damage, going up to 64 damage using Knight's first skill. Second is the shorter charge time for weapons that require charging buff, so you can shoot faster with the bow. Third is the increased accuracy and critical hit chance buff, so you hit more shots. Fourth is the immune to freeze and extra freeze time for enemies buff, so the bosses stay frozen for longer. And then there's the bullet piercing and bullet bouncing buff, so the arrow hits the boss and then bounces back at him, so you hit him twice with the same shot. I don't know if it works, but still. Now that all that info is out of the way, let's see it in the field. Bug, do your thing. Disclaimer, in all of these videos I'll be using a fully upgraded Knight and Book, so I get an extra 10% crit chance. It's quite important to have some sort of weapon to destroy boxes with, because the Frostbow isn't good for that at all. The first boss I get is the King Snow Ape. Really easy, you just move a bit and keep shooting him. Oh look, it's those dead alien scouts I was talking about in my first garbage theory video. I skip a bit here because the bosses aren't interesting. I kept getting the golden crystal crab, I don't know why, but it does flatter me. And we got our first weapon buff. Oh no, not this guy. You can literally sit in front of him, shoot him, and you still win. A fight against a Grand Knight should show you how good this freezing strategy is. I skipped a level. The Grand Slime. I hate the Grand Slime. He's designed to be beaten quickly, but that's the exact opposite of the type of gameplay you get with a bomb. And that's another buff for the bow. The volcanic sandworm. The strategy with him is to keep him frozen when he enters his second phase, because if you lose him, it's a nightmare to catch him. Forgot to say that you can also have the grindstone attachment on the bow, so that's an extra 16 damage. My strategy with the baby dragon bros is to target one of them, kill it, and then the other one is super easy. The floating laser UFO is typically hard because he has the invincibility charge attack, but since I have the buff that makes me shoot faster and freeze for longer, you can't manage to use it that. Oh look, it's the guy that's getting another phase in the new update. Strategy with the headless knight is like the strategy of the sandworm. You keep him freezed when he enters the second form, so the horse can't detach and use the charging attack, which makes him invincible. What's that? A dog? Oh no! I magically batted the game now. Stupid dog. I died totally because of him and not because I cornered myself. Did that just happen? All the fault of the dog.